Welcome to the Talented Investors That Share podcast.
You're really going with that? That's the name? Have you figured out what it spells?
All right, and welcome back to Talented Investors That Share. Today's talent with us is Josh Staneart. Did I pronounce that correctly?
You got it right
Staneart,
on. Very proud of you.
Staneart. Okay, because I could easily see somebody saying...
I get Stan Hart, I get Stan Fart, I get all of that stuff.
Stanier?
Stanier, yeah.
All right. Josh Staneart, we're talking to an agent, we're talking to an investor, we are talking to a flipper, buy and hold guy. And then also in their spare time, when they've got nothing going on, they just decided to start up a design business and staging business that has worked really well here locally. So we're gonna have lots of tips for how to prep a house for staging, some just design elements that you might want to factor into your flips, and then just some of the staging things they've learned along the way that kind of makes a house look more valuable. So those are going to be things that you're going to want to be interested in today as we talk to Josh. So Josh, welcome.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
I'm glad you could be here too. Like you fall into the category of people I know but don't really know.
That is correct.
Like I'd be like, somebody would be like, what do you think of Josh? I'd be like, what a guy, man.
Yeah.
He's awesome. But then they'd be like, so where does he live? I'd be like, probably Virginia.
If I had to take a guess, it'd be in Virginia. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I remember the first time when Jennifer and I were getting into the investing and coming to a house where it was one of Joan's events and doing a lot of networking at that, still do, but at that point getting into it and coming to one of you and Amanda's y'all's houses and I'd seen your name through wholesaling and stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's the news. But I'm looking forward to this and just getting to talk and know you a little bit better. Yeah.
I think I always said like we're Richmond famous, and not famous obviously is a relative term, right? So it's not like if I call and try to get a reservation somewhere, they're like, absolutely, we have an opening Friday at 7 for your party of 10. Like, no, it doesn't work like that. But like we're known amongst investors, I guess, right? Yeah. So at least within our niche. And then, this is how we get to know the rest of the world, right? So I'm excited to introduce the rest of the world to you.
All right.
And so your start in real estate, let's briefly go over that. Where did you and your wife get started?
Sure. So Jennifer started the staging and design company 6 years ago.
Okay.
I was in corporate world. She worked in real estate for a while, had a passion for design. It's a quick gratification thing for her. And she started the staging business and she had grown and grown and grown. And got to a point where, sick of being in corporate America, took a very big leap, didn't know anything about real estate. I'm more of the business background, so took a big jump and went to go help her. Got in with her and she works with a lot of investors. So it was... Investors get keys, they call her, she comes in, she gives a design plan. She, does all of this work, what colors, what walls to take down, all the stuff, gives them the plan. And then they call her to come back and stage the house. And I was, in my mind, I didn't know how the investing world worked. I said, wow, that's like, to me, that seems like an important factor. Like you're an ace up my sleeve is what I always call her. But like you have a very gifted talent. And so, I just started networking, started talking to people. A lot of her investors, I would just call up, send emails to that she was already had the relationships with and working with, and just coffees constantly. And
so you're the can I buy you a cup of coffee guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with that, by the way. Just and
I got told no multiple times.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, I just don't have the time. I can't do it now. Whatever it is. But definitely. And that's okay. I understand people's schedules, right?
Oh, I'm a Zoom guy. Like if somebody's like, hey, can I take you to lunch? I'm like, don't have the time for that. But like, maybe it's 7:30 tonight. We can hop on a 30-minute Zoom. Yeah, and I'll be good about like timing it. Because I'm like, I want to help, but also like, I'm not just an unlimited resource, right? Exactly.
And I understand that as we've gotten into it, but, met with several investors, and one of the investors that I met with, their challenge to me was to meet with one investor a week for the next 3 months and good. Just ask questions. And so that's what happened. Got in.
So like which one of those coffee visits were you like, I'm going to do this?
After the first one.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So, and who did?
But I just had to get the understanding, when you're getting into it and everybody's talking about the 70% rule or the 1% rule or you can just use, other people's money and do it. And I'm just like, whoa, time out. What do you mean people are just going to give you money? What is 70% of what? Like, what are you doing?
You're like, if I asked my uncle for $1,000, he'd be like, I have $8.
Yeah. You're not getting that. I'm not. Yeah. So, it was understanding that. And then the more and more, so you hear from one person, you go to the next, you explain this, like, how do you handle this? How do you do this?
By chance, do you remember like who that first investor was that you sat down with?
Yeah.
Who was this?
Laura Eubanks.
Laura Eubanks. Well, shout out to Laura Eubanks for meeting up for coffee and being gracious.
Yeah.
For without that.
Amazing person, very generous with her time, and has worked with Jennifer for 4 years now. So
very cool.
She was very gracious and in Richmond, one of the top investors in Richmond. So it was very nice that she did that.
So you got bit by the bug.
Yep.
How long from that before you did your first flip or buy and hold?
Yeah, so it was really weird. So like I started, an opportunity presented itself where it was a friend of my daughter's, my oldest daughter, had a landscaping company, and he was cutting grass at this house, and it was a vacant property.
There it is.
And he had the contact with the homeowner.
Yeah.
And he knew I was like trying to get into this, and so he called me and said, "Hey, there's this house. I have the person's information. So shit, let's go." Yeah. So called the guy. I didn't know anything, right? But in my opinion, the way for me, the way things work is reading a book is great. I'll learn some stuff, but I got to throw myself into the deep end.
Right,
so,
absolutely.
Started negotiating with the guy, got the house under contract, and then it was like, the hell do I do now? I've been talking to people, other people's money, do this, do that. And it's like, I have no idea what's going on. Well, I knew somebody that flipped houses. So I just went to them and said, "Hey, you want a partner?"
Okay.
And so we did a partnership.
Okay. So you did a joint venture.
Okay. Yep. So they brought the money. We did, one of the stipulations was we really wanted to be involved in the daily, like, flipping, making decisions on, and they were perfectly fine with that, right?
They're like, you want to do all the heavy lifting?
You got it.
What? Fine.
Yeah.
I'll call my money guy that I send a text to and say 275 ? And they send thumbs up emoji back.
Exactly.
And they're like, I'm doing you a favor.
Yeah. And so we got in there and learned, and we were very hands-on at that point in time. We were the ones wanting to like, let's paint. We can paint. So let's try to save a little bit of money and let's do that. The landscaping. Yeah, I'll spend a weekend like cutting down, the shrubs and pulling, doing all of that. And it went well. I did the flip in about 2.5 months, 3 months. After everything was said and done, made about $25,000 off of it. So,
okay, and that's the split, or
with the split, yeah.
Okay, so that was you netted 25 personally. Okay,
Yep.
So from that point on, were you like, I'm unstoppable?
Yeah. I mean, in my mindset, like that's. My personality is I'm usually very confident. Mm-hmm. You get smacked back in this industry sometimes.
Right.
It'll put you in your place. But yeah, I was very much like, all right, let's go. Like, how do I repeat this again?
Right. You're like, do I need new business cards now? There's like Josh Flipper.
Yeah, correct. Exactly. Like I'm going to go hand them out to everybody. So, got another one. Actually did another partnership with somebody else at this point in time. We had $25,000 we had made. Someone called us to do a flip and to buy in with $25,000. So we did another partnership there.
Okay.
Made some money off of that. And then we did our first one on our own in Lakeside.
So how long was it from starting with a partner to doing your own thing?
2 months.
That's a short turnaround.
Yeah.
It's a very short turnaround. So were these more cosmetic flips where you just like going in and doing things? Or were they
for some reason, that's not our, we're not a go in, it's paint, flooring, and you're out. So I don't know if that's because like when we got started, that's what it was, taking down walls. It was really getting involved in the process. And so that's just kind of stuck and is our thing. But yeah, they were pretty involved.
So you, in your mind right now, you're trying to figure out which one of these walls you can knock
down? Yeah. Got to open the space up.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think this is the smallest room in the house. So this would be bedroom number 6.
Oh, nice.
This is really a nursery.
Yeah,
I mean, this is not a very large
It's an
room.
office.
Yeah, it's an office / nursery. It does have the taller ceilings, which I think is the only redeeming factor here. And then the larger window. But other than that, like,
Yeah, I mean, it seems bigger because of taller ceilings.
yeah, but I'm like, it's tight. It's tight.
You squeeze in
It worked. Yeah, we're like finding smaller chairs, and like you can see the door behind me here.
Yeah.
Like it's not the perfect setup, but like give it a second, right? You know, give it a second.
It'll be comfortable.
When you see like a full blown studio, that's when you're like, oh dang, that's podcast money right there. So
that person's big time.
That's talented investor money right there. So, all right,
that Joe Rogan.
I would love to just that be my schedule.
Yeah. Just sit here and talk to like cool freaking people all the time.
Cool people, and then helping people, and then just building a community. Essentially, is what we're here to do.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because we've gotten so much out of our community that it's like it's been such a short period of time, but it's already time to give back.
Yeah.
Like I already see where like we've even got folks working for us where like they came up to us at a meetup, and then all of a sudden like. Fast forward 6 months, they're on the team. Yeah. Right? So that's really, so all right. So you started to get into flipping, and you used her design skills along the way.
Yeah, super important in our business. What she does.
So we work with a stager that is just on the back end. Right. So we present them with house, and like you make it look good. Right. Okay. Because I've already done what I think is a decent job. Right. So, or really it's Amanda's work, right? I'm just acquisition.
Exactly.
Same in
our
people always like will come up to me and they'll be like, dude, you did such a great job on that. This is the second time I've been in this house. Right? Exactly. Once was when I signed the contract before I took the before photos. And then I left, and now I'm here and everyone's patting me on the back. Exactly. So it's a good feeling. But I had nothing to do with it. You guys, though, I think y'all's sort of market differentiating thing is that she's coming in there kind of helping them with the plan long before they even start work. Yeah. So what is that process looking like?
Yeah. So, and a funny story, I learned very quickly what my role was in our business on our very first flip that we did by ourselves. We had finished this flip up, and she was spending time putting wallpaper up and doing something in this particular room. And I'm outside and I'm like cleaning the windows. You know, we're getting ready to go on the market in 2 days, and she's finishing up. And as a married couple, I'm sure you go through this sometimes too, but being in business together, the marriage can come in, the business can come in. And so we got in a little argument. I was like, you're wasting time. This is what needs to be done, blah, 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 blah. And she was putting wallpaper, and we made this, it was a utility room. So, and she knew, and this is what's very important, is she knew who the buyer was in that area. Okay. It was going to be a younger couple, maybe, or a younger family that was going to be moving it. You know, that's who was going to be buying this. And that a woman, a lot of the times, makes the decisions when it comes, if they see something that's really important to them in the house. And so she was spending the time in that utility room, putting up the wallpaper, making it look nice, doing all these extra things. I mean, huge folding table was in there. And so this was back in 2022. Market was, I mean, you basically had to put a sign in the yard. And you had,
gangbusters,
right?
You had if you don't like the way the deals look, just give it a month.
Exactly.
The terms will be better.
Yeah. And so all the feedback that we would receive was how great that room was. And at that point in time, I learned my role, and my role was acquisitions, finding the money, networking. Yeah. Her role is the design, what happens at the house.
Did they also have feedback like whoever did the windows sucks at their job?
Yeah. Whoever's cleaning those, they left a lot of streaks. And I'm like, oh yeah, absolutely.
So that was all, that was somebody else.
Yeah. So, I mean, with her and coming in, again, I do the acquisitions. Our plan, how we work, and it's been a process. Contractors are sometimes rough, hard to like work with, keep on schedule, doing all of that. But we've been fortunate and we have a GC that works our projects. So the way our projects work at the beginning are we walk through with the contractor. Jennifer develops a design plan. So it'll be everything from this is the flooring we're using, these are the light fixtures, this is the faucets, this is what the porch is going to look like, all of that stuff. Design plan.
And how does that get presented? Is it a spreadsheet? Is it software?
So it's on 4 or 5 pieces of paper. Okay. We post it up at the house.
Very nice.
So there's no questions or anything. And so she gives that. We give a design plan, we give a product list and the scope of work to our contractor at the beginning. And then that's how the process starts for us.
Are you buying materials or are you having them buy materials?
The finishing touches we purchase.
Okay.
They buy everything else.
Okay. So they're buying flooring, paint, all that, and you're factoring that into your scope.
Yep.
And then so that's kind of the beginning. So they get to see soup to nuts. This is what the plan is.
Yep.
And of course, everything goes perfectly to plan, correct?
Exactly.
Yeah,
always.
That's
There's
a pro tip.
Never any
You'll
issues.
never get delayed in flipping.
Correct.
You'll always have a good time and nothing pops up out of nowhere.
When you take down a wall, you won't find anything that you didn't know
plumbing,
about.
HVAC, electrical, sewer, septic, that sort of thing.
Exactly.
So you've got your plan. Then things obviously from time to time either go awry or just surprises, hiccups, procedural things.
Yeah.
What has for you guys has been the thing that like was the biggest learning opportunity in surprises while you were flipping?
I mean, I think I am not a handyman. I never say that I am.
Sure.
So that's been a lot of.
You're preaching to the choir.
Yeah. It's been a lot of learning along the way, right?
Say, look at these hands. These
like Jennifer gives me a hard time. Like I have a hard time knowing the difference between a screwdriver and a hammer sometimes. Like, but I mean, just learning more about a house, whether it is piping. I mean, one of the biggest lessons that we had was we were flipping a house in the north side and it was covered in termites. And that was not something that we found or knew beforehand.
Right.
And it ended up costing a lot of money.
What's a lot?
It was about $45,000-$50,000 over budget.
Ooh, just in termites.
Yeah, because we had to take the whole back third of the house had to come off. They had come up from underneath, gone all the way up the house on the backside. And so that was learning. Yeah. So, I mean, now we do.
Did that kill that deal or was there still enough in there?
Nope,
you were still happy with it?
Still a great deal.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like another little pro tip right there is if you're at home and you're sitting there thinking to yourself, like, I'm getting into flipping and like, oh my gosh, I can't weather a $45,000 loss like that. So number one, termite inspection, usually they're like $75.
Yeah,
so that's the cheapest inspection you're going to get, right? Very easy for someone to do in a very short amount of time, usually very quick turnaround time too.
Yeah.
And then that gives you the peace of mind that at least you're not going to deal with that surprise. Correct. Or if there is a $45,000, we need to take the back third of the house off. Like that's a really good negotiating opportunity.
Correct. And
right?
that's exactly what it is.
Because oftentimes we find termites and it's like an $800 treatment.
Correct.
No big deal. Like we've kind of budgeted for that already. So we're not even going to take it back to the seller. We're not going to take it. $2,000-$3,000. Maybe we still eat it, especially if it's like a really good deal and we just don't want to press our luck. But yeah, if somebody comes back with a $45,000 fix, that is getting renegotiated. And that's also something they should know because whether they sell it to you or to anyone else,
it's going to be that
is
same
a
issue.
material defect to the home.
Correct.
So, all right. So termites has been a big one. Anything else that comes to mind where you're like, that's,
I mean, I think, and this is probably going to be an unpopular decision comment with other investors, but a lesson I've learned is permits. When you're selling a home, if the person knows that the house has been flipped, they can ask for permits, right? And that we got hit with that. No, probably shouldn't be talking about that, but like we didn't pull a permit, and then we got hit with and it ruined the deal. Like the deal got ruined, and so now we do it from start. Like it's the first thing. Close on a house. I'm immediately we use outside a firm to file all the permits. And so immediately go, and these are the permits that we need.
Okay.
And so those are pulled, and then, we can start cleaning out and start doing a lot of the stuff. Obviously, depending on where you are, it could take a couple days or it could take a month and a half. But so, I mean, that's another big just lesson.
Yeah.
Just more protecting your own ass, covering yourself from any kind of lawsuits, any kind of problems, any kind of issues that could come down the road. It's been really big learning lessons, and you're learning them every single time we do something. There's a lesson that's learned in that project. So yeah.
So from the agent side, are you also handling the buy and the sale as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is your wife an agent?
No.
Okay, so Jennifer's not an agent. Okay, so what made you go like say I want to be an agent? Like I want to be an investor, but I also want to be an agent.
Yeah. So at first,
that's like a controversial thing. Like should you or should you
Yeah.
not? Like I'm not an agent. I don't want to be an agent.
Correct.
Like it seemed like a natural fit for you. So what felt natural to become an agent there?
my first thought is I'm a big believer in if I can create a circle around everything that's needed in real estate. So agent, landscaping, cleaning. Like I would love to have a little bit part of a business to kind of like, I don't need to own all of it, but if I can get 10% shares coming off title company, all of that kind of stuff, right? It was just the money. Like I could make more money doing it. And to be 100% frank and honest is, again, I became an agent in 2022. You just had to put a sign in the yard. Like there really wasn't, being an agent wasn't like really being an agent of like what it is today.
I will say it's a skill set that people are having to get much better at now.
Correct.
Like that was, it would surprise me if we didn't see a lot of people fall off.
I feel they are currently, and I believe that I 100% agree with you. A lot of agents don't want to have difficult conversations, right? And in my world and what I do is it's better for me to prepare you up front and let you know, hey, this is what could happen down the line. I'm not saying it will, but this could be what could happen. I mean, we have this NAR lawsuit now that's been going on, and where you don't have to advertise the commissions. And so you have a lot of sellers that want to go back and forth. There's a lot of beliefs, especially with investors. Investors always want to save as much money as they can. I'm a firm believer in you pay 3% to the buyer's agent because you want them to bring you a qualified buyer and you want to work with another good professional. So you should reward that person for the job that they're doing. If you don't, it's one of those things, you get what you pay for, right? If you don't want to offer commissions, fine, but you're going to get that agent or that buyer that's going to come in and you're going to have a horrible experience with that. And so like having that conversation with the seller, explaining to them why, not just letting them go, hey, I'm not going to offer any commissions. That's fine if you want to, but I'm going to tell you, this is what you're going to get out of this. And I want you to be prepared for that now instead of down the road.
Right. Yeah. You're deciding the outcome in advance.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right.
And as long as you're okay with that, you're good.
Yeah. And you also may get people that don't come see the house because now the buyer would be responsible for paying their agent. And so now they just won't come. So now you're taking your market and you're shrinking it down more. So, and that's just my opinion. So.
Well, and I'm hearing from other folks too, that they're just getting that phone call and it's like, hey, is this 3%?
Yeah.
And if the answer is no, they're like, well, then we're not coming.
Correct.
And you're like, well, that's unethical. And it's like, that's for the market to sort out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
But I am all for it. Like pay it, get it out, get it off the books. Cause even if it's something as simple as like, okay, so let's just say it takes another 10 days to sell, another 15 days to sell. Like, what is your money holding cost?
Correct.
And I'd be willing to bet it's probably for 10 or 15 days, about 0.5% of your deal.
Correct. Exactly.
So like if you're saying I'm going to do 2.5, I'm going to do 2, I'm going to do nothing.
Yeah.
Like nothing to me is like the quickest way to just sit on the market for 144 days until somebody says, I have to have this house. Right.
Yeah.
If you're trying to go in under 2 weekends, like give the people what they want.
Exactly.
And it's like, that would be a tough sell. Like I think about that. Like what if I was an agent? Would I really care? Whatever. And I was like, yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I want to get paid for this.
Yep.
And I don't want, especially if they've already had that tough conversation. Like, hey, if they're not willing to pay me, are you? And they're like, not really. Cause we don't want to pay 3% more for a house.
Correct.
And it's, or upfront or with fees or have to bring that cash to the table. Like it's a different story now. So we're seeing a ton of that.
Yep.
At least personally in the market.
Yep.
It seems like that's also what you're seeing too. Are you getting like the bold face, like they just call you and say, what's the percentage?
Yeah.
And then just like no. And then when you say, oh, this one's 2.5, just they hang up the phone? Like what's happening?
No. So, I mean, 2.5 is, I think that's a good deal also. I mean, I like to, again, talking with the seller, if they're going to offer the buyer's agent 2.5, it's kind of shitty to like, hey, I'm the selling agent. I'm going to take 3 and we're going to give you 2.5. Right. So like, I would prefer, I know it's making less money for me, but I know what's best for my client would be I take 2.5. Let's give 3% to the buyer's agent. So like, but yeah, I mean, you get the call. 2.5, I think is a fine deal. I mean, you're getting paid. It's being covered. I'm seeing that a lot now, 2.5%. I mean, but yeah. I just think that a lot of agents are going to be getting out because they just can't have those conversations with people.
Yeah. The feedback that I'm getting from agents is that nobody wants to negotiate. And a lot of that has to do with youth and inexperience.
Yeah.
So, right.
That's the agent's job. That's what I just don't get. Like, it's something that drives me insane about other agents is you get that first, you list a house, right? I'm listing this house for $350. I put it on the market on Thursday. On Friday, I get an offer for $350. I call my client. This is the asking. You should take this offer. We got it. Boom. I don't have to do any more work over the weekend. Don't have to do any open houses. Blah, 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 blah. Take the offer. What the hell are you doing? Like, your job is to negotiate for your client and get your client the most money. Now if you got that offer in the first 24 hours, what's coming down the line?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
let it ride the weekend.
Yeah, let it go through the weekend. Yeah. And then you use your skills to negotiate for your client to get them better terms, better price, whatever it is. I mean, there's a lot of lazy agents out there that just don't want to do that work, and that's kind of frustrating.
Yeah. For you, where is that line? So, like, obviously, like, you've got the full asking. Like, a lot of people are just like, close your hand.
Yeah.
Right. Just take the money. Right.
Yeah.
Just take the money, and not just from your own paycheck, but like, this is a yes, right? You said, I want to sell this for $350, and someone says, I'll give you $350 for it. Like, technically that's meeting their criteria.
Correct.
So where's the line for you where you're like, nah, let's keep riding this? Like, how do you?
Well, we've always said that, like, nobody makes more money after an inspection, right? So, like, you're not getting more money back in your pocket. So negotiate the terms. Like, so then if I get two offers that come in at $350, I can negotiate. So both of them are the same. Hey, you want to stand out? This is what we need. You waive inspection, or hey, you're not going to single line items under $1,000. You're not going to nitpick us on this thing. And so that way it protects your client, your seller, from having to come out of pocket even more money at the end.
For every seal crack in a window, every outlet that,
Yeah, because you have inspectors that come in, and it's their job, right? To let the buyer know, hey, this is a potential issue. But there's a lot of them that, like, this is an issue, but it's really not an issue. Like, you don't have to worry about that. That's not a big deal, but it scares buyers sometimes.
Yeah, we see a lot of, we'll just say CYA, right? So they're covering their butt.
Yeah.
They're trying to just make you aware of what could potentially be a thing, but isn't currently.
Yeah.
And then if you're a first-time home buyer, that's scary because you're like, well, I didn't think about that before.
Yeah.
But now this seed has been planted in my mind.
Yeah. And then dad comes in during the inspection and deals off.
Well, or it can be something that, like, sets them up to be sold by someone that's financially incentivized to make this a worse problem than it really is.
Yeah.
So I love it when someone says these windows are no longer sold. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You bought them 8 years ago.
Yeah.
They have a newer model of window.
Correct.
Right. So doesn't mean it won't fit.
Yeah. It doesn't mean they don't, like, it doesn't work properly. Yeah.
Well, I'll say, in recalls and, like, class action suits, they're a whole, the various products are, are taken off the market or recalled. So that makes sense. Because I'm talking, like, they'll say things like, well, this isn't sold. And I'm like, yeah, well, neither is a 2001 Honda Civic. Like, they've got a newer model now. So, like, it's going to be way better. But that doesn't mean that car doesn't run anymore, right? If you maintained it, it'll run for forever, right? So I see that a lot. And I'm like, yeah, there's a new version of a Tahoe that's out for 2025. That means the 2024 is no longer manufactured.
Correct.
That body style is no longer made. They kind of look the same. They act the same. They probably have 90% of the same parts, but, like, it's technically not the same car. So then they go to, like, especially I see this, like, windows. Then they go to Window World to have one window looked at, and they go, oh, these windows aren't made anymore.
Yeah.
You need all new windows. It's like, wait, well, hold on a second.
That's their job. Let me sell you on that. Yeah.
So $28,000 request later, because inevitably they're not exchanging like for like, so, like, $28,000 request later, you have to just look at them and be like, no,
not happening.
This is not happening. You're crazy. What's some of the more expensive, like, line items where somebody has said, like, we would like this taken care of?
And you talk about a roof. I mean, and in my opinion, those are the big things: roof, foundation, any kind of termite issues, like things that are really affecting the house. I mean, windows could be an issue, but like you're saying, like, there's a huge difference between, hey, these windows are from the 70s and these windows are from, 2017.
Right.
Like, there's a huge difference in that. But I mean, that's what I try to also have conversations with buyers about. Like, this is what we are looking. You're buying a house. you're more than likely going to a house you're always going to be working on and working with and doing stuff with. So we don't need, that's not the paint I like, I want them to paint the room kind of deal. So just having those conversations is super important. But yeah, I mean, big things are roofs to me, are roofs, plumbing leaks, stuff like that. Yeah.
For sellers that are looking at selling their house, how often are they having to come out of pocket to replace roofs or entire HVAC units?
Yeah, HVACs, yeah.
Water heaters. I feel like that water heater seems to come up a lot because that's something that lasts forever.
Correct.
But is like end of life after what, 8 or 10 years?
Yeah,
but like it will last 40 years, especially gas ones, right? You know? Are you seeing a lot of requests? Like, you know, obviously 2022, it was like, we'll just take it.
Correct.
We'll take the house.
Yeah. No inspection.
Whatever you want. Yeah. No inspection as is.
I'm just seeing a lot more of just like, there is a lot of nitpicking. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of, and that's why I think it's important to negotiate the deal so you can cover your seller from not having to, that outlet cover is broken. We want that replaced. Like,
right.
We're just being ridiculous right now. So yeah.
My favorite.
Not sure if that answered the question.
No, yeah, no, good. I think and so here we are, Q4 of 2024.
Yep.
Like we're seeing that going up.
Yep.
Right? I don't feel like it's becoming less and less.
Yeah.
I've seen, and I can't tell if it's the apps that are kind of forcing this, like where like they're saying like, give us some feedback no matter what.
Yeah.
You know, tree in your backyard too large.
Yeah.
And you're like,
limbs hanging over house.
Yeah.
Need it.
Well, that I can understand, but like just like tree in back corner of backyard too large for comfort.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, it's not going to hit a house. This is kind of a more rural area.
Yeah.
You just not like old oak trees. Okay. You know, God bless you. I saw one that was, I think the water heater, and this is like a 1,200 square foot, like brick rancher. So obviously you're kind of limited on floor plans there. And the hot water heater was in like a bedroom number 4's closet. Yeah. And it was a large closet. So, and it only took up like one little corner of it. And they were like, hot water heater in bedroom, unacceptable. And I'm like, I guess if you got infant children, maybe.
Yeah.
But, you know.
It's really not that big of a deal.
Don't touch the hot water heater, please.
So, I'll put a sign on there for you.
So I was like, that was the deal breaker for you. It was a perfect house for you. Other than that, I'm like, I don't believe that. I think you just want to say something.
Correct.
So, do you think the apps make life easier or worse for you? And for those, like I say apps isn't like there's software for agents. There's, you know, some proprietary tools. Maybe the brokerage you're working with uses a particular.
Yeah. So we have showing time software. And like after an agent shows, it asks for feedback. And then that usually goes to your client. In my opinion, it's a good thing.
Okay.
For the simple fact of it lets the client know. Now there are a lot of dumb requests, like you're saying. Yeah. Or opinions, but I think it's good for the seller to hear that feedback, because it makes it also easier for the agent to go back and at that point in time and go, hey, this is the feedback that we're getting. We may need to adjust something here.
Yeah, you told them, hey, we need to brighten up that laundry room.
Correct.
And they were like, nah, we're not doing that.
Yeah, correct.
And then like, because nobody's going to care about that. And then the first 3 pieces of feedback they get are like, what's going on with that laundry room?
Correct.
And you're like, well.
It's nothing better.
It's almost
than
as if someone tried to warn you.
Yeah. Oh, I want to price my house for $400,000. And you're like, it should really be at like $375,000, $380,000. No, we're going to price it. Okay, we'll do that. But the agreement is after 2 weeks, we drop it if it doesn't go under contract. And then like all the feedback is overpriced. And it's like, all right, cool. Like this makes it easier when I go back and go, hey, this is what we talked about. So let's drop this price down. So.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you have to negotiate more with your sellers or with your buyers? Which, like in this process, do you feel like you have to do more negotiating with?
It's sellers, but I try to do the negotiating at the front end of it, like I just kind of talked about. So, I mean, I like to negotiate at the front. If you know, you're the homeowner, you're the seller, it's your decision on what the heck you want to do, right? I can choose not to work with you if it's like you have this astronomical amount, like
it's worth $375, but I'm trying to sell it for $550.
Correct. Yeah. And so like, I try to do that negotiating at the front end of it. And so that makes it easier. Again, having those tough conversations at the beginning makes it a lot easier. Buyers, I mean, I really enjoy, and another reason I got into being an agent or diving deeper into being an agent was I wanted to fill another bucket. Like for me, right? Working with people, you make relationships with people that you probably wouldn't have known or had that relationship with. And you helping a first time home buyer get their house, right? Recently, my daughter and her boyfriend just bought a house. Like that was one of the like best experiences that I had, was going through that process with them. And it was difficult because I had to like, being a dad or being an agent, like taking that hat off and on. But stuff like that is just, it's super cool. But setting up buyers, like talking to the buyers, what are you looking for? Knowing what, like, hey, let's create this list. All right. 5 things you're looking for.
Yeah.
All right. How would you, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you get this? All right. So this is what's most important to you. And then when you go to that house and they're trying to nitpick stuff out, be like, hey, that wasn't on your list.
Right.
Like, you want a house. This is a great house for you. You can get it at a great price, like all that kind of stuff. So having the tough conversations up front, negotiating that stuff up front. But yeah, definitely more probably with sellers than buyers.
That makes sense. Yeah. I mean, because they're the person you're going to have the most of the relationship.
Correct.
Right? Yeah. And so like, Josh, but you told us.
Yeah.
Like that,
exactly.
you run a greater risk of that popping up down the road.
Yeah.
It seems like you do a really good job of that though.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I question myself sometimes, like, I don't even know what's a good agent. You know, in my opinion, it's having that connection, right? Being able to talk to people. And I've been told, I'll never say that I'm good at anything, but like I've been told that that's something that like I have a gift in, is making that connection with people. And that's what I feel has like been a really strong, most of my business is my sphere. Our sphere referrals. So I
was gonna say, I think your demeanor is like goes a long way in all of this. Like your tone, the way you carry yourself, like you're not taking everything to. I mean, you're wearing flip flops, right?
Yeah,
and I've seen you wear flip flops pretty much. I mean, is this a 365?
It is, but the older I'm getting. I don't know if like the blood's flowing all the way through my body and getting to my toes, because yesterday it was freezing, and I'm starting to question. I may have to go buy some shoes, but I got an image to uphold here, but I don't want to be uncomfortable.
I kind of like the agent and flip flops thing. So as long as you can hold on to that, please do. But yes, obviously, if the diabetes gets to your feet, don't.
We got eight toe Josh over here. Have you seen him? He's still got flip flops on.
You start losing toes. I don't think it's not as sexy.
Exactly.
It's not as sexy. You're a good looking guy, but like let's keep it that way, right? Let's keep it that way. People will be like, oh, Josh,
them toes.
Yeah, no, we're good. So, well, you don't take it too seriously, but also I think you do a really good job of listening.
Yeah.
I think you do a really good job of just being mindful of the strengths and weaknesses that you have, right? And then just playing into your strengths, which I think is something that many people don't understand.
Yeah.
So that's really cool.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
As we think about your journey from flipper to buy and holder to, and then also participating in this process for newer investors, because I think this, obviously this audience is everybody, but a lot of folks may already know some of the tips and tricks that, for the newer investors, like what are the things that when you were getting started, you're like, I really wish somebody had told me were going to be easy, or things that were going to be hard?
This is something that's not really talked about a lot in the networking stuff and stuff that you hear, but be very careful with who you do business with. I think it's super important. Like, I've been screwed. I've been like hard. And some of the reasons were, not having a proper contract, right? Like, oh, I trust, like, obviously I'm just gonna use your name, but yeah, Adam, I trust you. Yeah, let's go into business. We don't need a contract. We don't need this. And why? I don't want to spend $850 for an attorney to draw up the paperwork, blah, blah, blah. It's like, but I trust you. Like, we're just going to do this. And then at the end of the day, you realize that I shouldn't have done that. Like that. And it knocks you back. It knocks you on your butt sometimes. One of the things that a lot of investors say, and it drives me crazy sometimes, but like, oh, that was just an expensive lesson. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, that's an expensive lesson, but that's college education that could have just been done. I could have bought another house, right? With that. And that's, it's one thing that just kind of drives me nuts that people say, but yeah, definitely, do your due diligence, whether it's with a house, whether it's with other people, because at the end of the day, it falls on you, right? It's your responsibility. I made the decision to go into business with this person. I screwed up. Yeah. Right. And it's hard. I mean, but you got to learn from it. Right. So while they do say this stupid thing of, oh, that's an expensive lesson, like, yeah, you're right. And you should learn from every single mistake that you make. I mean, I was listening to Denzel Washington made this speech, commencement speech at a college, and he talks about failing. Like, you're going to fail.
Sure.
But don't fail and fall back. You fall forward. You learn from it and you move on from it, right? And so that's been a driving factor because, with a lot of things I lost a ton of money in a partnership. And it made me question myself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was depression, like what's going on? Like, is this the right decision that I'm making to do this real estate investing? I mean, I have pride. And there's just a driving factor that I'm not going to let someone else, what someone else did to me is not going to determine what the rest of my life looks like.
Yeah.
Right. So it was like, I was literally laying on the couch for like 2 months and just like, oh, poor, pitiful Josh. And like, it hit me one day. I was like, there's no, like, Adam's not sitting over there going, oh, poor Josh. Like, nobody cares. Get up. Yeah. You need to get up and go do what's right for your family, and your future. And so, it was a smack in the face. All right, let's get up. Let's get this ball rolling because, like for me, if I can get some momentum going, it's just going to take back off again, right? Because I trust and I know what Jennifer and I can do, right? I know what our skills are and what we can produce. And so, it's just getting back up and going, right? And so you learn from what that mistake was. So that's a big thing. And I feel like it's really not talked about, whether it's podcasts, whether it's networking events. People don't talk about the fact of like, hey, you need to watch out because not everybody is Adam and is like, okay, yeah, like I trust you. Like we can do business together. We can do this and that, right? But not there's people out there that are sharks. There's people out there that are like trying to take advantage of people. And you need to watch out for it.
Yeah. And even something I've always like kind of warned my money lenders about. Like they'll tell me like, yeah, I started working with this person or that person. And I might not know anything about them, right? So I can't make a judgment call like whether they're of high integrity or not. But a lot of times I'll ask them the question, like, what do they do for a living?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, they're stocking the shelves at Barnes & Noble. Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I would ask the question, if they lost $40,000, how long would it take them to pay you back when they make $27,000 a year?
Yeah.
10 years, if ever.
Yeah.
Like, so that kind of thing. So like, if you talk to somebody, and I guess it's not a requirement that you be a high W-2 earner on your way into real estate, but like if you talk to somebody and says, hey, this guy pulls $300K and he lives a pretty modest lifestyle and he works a W-2 job, like I'm convinced if he loses $40,000, he can probably just write a check for it right now.
Yeah.
Or he can say, I can get this knocked out in the next 4 months.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And like he'll be able to work with you or do whatever. I get concerned about people that are of particularly low income that are like, I'm going to ramp this bad boy up. And I'm like, I'd really like to see you slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
And that way you just don't get out in front of your skis. So that's kind of like my tip to, especially to money lenders. Like it's just be really careful about like just everything about that person. So like there's the obvious stuff, credit scores and how much money's in your bank account. Like some of that stuff's more obvious than others. And then just referrals and references and things like that. And some people do background checks, criminal histories, that sort of thing. But I'm like, really pay attention to like how they carry themselves, what they do for a living, and like how could play this thing all the way out. Could they actually pay you back if they had to?
Yeah. Don't always think the positive,
right.
There's going to be at some point in time, now maybe 1 out of 100, right? But there's going to be that one.
But if you're holding 10 houses, like in buy and hold property, if you're holding 10 houses, and I know that if there's a chance he loses, I know you could always sell one of those houses to make it
get it back.
Now you don't want to do that.
Correct.
It might hurt you significantly to do that, but like to be a man of your word, you could make it happen.
Correct.
What I worry about is the people that, regardless of their intent, can't make it happen.
Correct.
That piece to me, I'm like, be really, really mindful of that.
Yeah, and I, as a borrower. When you go to work, when you work with investors, and certain investors have their stipulations and they're like, this needs to be done. I need pictures. I need this. I need that. You got to respect it, right? I mean, they're on the fact they're giving you all this money. They're making a huge investment, right? Yeah. They have to be able to trust you. And that trust is super important with lenders, and making sure that you develop that trust. If they ask for 500 pictures every single day, send them 500 pictures. Like you have to develop that trust, especially when you're starting off. Like you have to develop that trust, and you have to make sure that you understand that, hey, these people are making a big investment. Like that's why they charge more. That's why they charge extra on, their interest and points. But be aware of that as the person borrowing also.
For sure.
Yeah.
I get really protective. Like I get really protective of the people that are in my circle.
Yeah.
Like
as you should.
Be careful.
Yeah.
Right. And so
Very.
like, I think it was, a local attorney that one time I was pretty bold about my paperwork because I thought I did a really good job of getting that all sorted out. And so basically it was
this paperwork. So you had an attorney draw it up or you do it yourself?
Somebody else had drawn it up,
Okay.
but, it was a JV agreement.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, so basically if the two of us disagree on something, I'm the deciding vote.
Yeah.
So like, it's 50-50, but like I'm actually the one in charge.
51-49.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. But yeah,
Yeah.
like, so we're going to split the money 50-50. But like, if you say, I think we should do blue cabinets and I say we should do white cabinets, we're doing white cabinets.
Yeah.
Like, that's the end of it.
Yeah.
And it says that on paper. And then he was like, that's actually, an ambiguous little spot for you because now all of a sudden we have the ability to question your judgment. So it's like in an ideal world, if you have the ability to narrow something down to we're either going to do this or this and it's my decision, like then we've already dictated the terms we were required to go off of up front in the paperwork.
Yeah.
So kind of like if you said Adam has the choice to choose between blue or white cabinets, like if I choose white cabinets, you knew that was already a potential outcome.
Yeah.
That's not just me making up that white cabinets is the best thing. So it's almost like just adding those little extra things in there that like, if possible, when it comes to deciding is more money needed, whatever, we are going to do this or this. If you can narrow it down that bad, and some paperwork you can't, you gotta be more ambiguous with. But if you can decide we're either going to do this or this, like that kind of covers your bases a little bit extra.
Yeah.
So that's how I've been like tweaking a lot of stuff there just to kind of make it come out to where, I'm not just this, dictator making decisions and then you could potentially question my fiduciary responsibility or whatever. We're going to try to refine that even further. So I thought that was an interesting tip.
Yeah. I mean, it's great. It's a great point because a lot of times when you go into these things, we kind of talked about it earlier, but you don't think that the bad things are going to happen, right? Mm-hmm. But you have to. I mean, and you got to make sure that's in the paperwork. And so, I think that's great.
Do you see yourself doing any more JVs going forward, or do you think you guys have sorted it out where this is just you guys?
I mean, I can see myself doing some, but like it's very limited on like who I would trust and who I would do stuff with.
Fair enough. Yeah. I think we're at a point now where like it would take a lot for us to JV with somebody.
Yeah.
Like, cause I think at our peak, been doing 11 projects consecutively.
Yeah.
So like we can do that many. So I guess we would start JVing at 12 at a time.
And so that's the only reason that I would do it. Right. So like for me, it's gotten to the point, like there's been times where, hey, I want to JV. This is a great deal. Mm-hmm. I don't want to miss this opportunity. And sometimes it's like, you don't have to get all the great opportunities. Sometimes it may not end up being a great opportunity, but then I can JV with somebody like, hey, you bring the down payment, you bring the closing costs, right? I'm bringing the deal, you're bringing all this, we'll get the money. And that's how, like, that's the only situation that I would consider any type of JV with somebody. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. So, all right. So realtor extraordinaire, design choice. So it's, halfway decent realtor.
Halfway decent.
Okay. So a decent realtor. Yeah. And if you're out there and you're sitting there saying to yourself, I'm in Richmond and I'm looking to buy or sell a house, Josh is a fantastic resource. So, he is a humble man in flip-flops. Mm-hmm. So be prepared for that.
If I show up in shoes, question me.
Yeah, exactly. Ask me, is everything okay,
Are your toes
are you medically all right? Yeah. So, it could just be cold.
Yeah. It's snowing.
It's snowing. Yeah, it's wet and cold outside. Yeah. So, realtor extraordinaire. What does the buy and hold world look like for you going forward?
Yeah, so I'm just starting this. I'm just starting to get into this world. I don't know why.
Okay.
But I'm just starting to. I'm in the process of doing my first refinance right now on a house, and then we have a duplex that we're currently in the process of flipping that we're going to keep also. And so I'm learning a lot with this. I couldn't wrap my head around, it seems stupid, but the refinance part.
Okay.
Like I just couldn't it took me a while, and I literally had to go on paper and be like, all right, this is this, like, okay, this kind of looks like this is what everybody's been talking about at all these events and blah, blah, blah. And so I've kind of like wrapped my head around that. So like our goal for next year, I put my foot on the gas pedal, and I seem to like just pound it all the way down. It's not like this, like, let's go 0 to 10 to 20. Like I just want to go. And so that's another learning part. Like that's what really kind of screwed me, as I wanted to be my goal was $1 million. Like I wanted to make $1 million. Like this is like, why do you want to make $1 million? Like, because this was year 2 of you being in the business. Like you think, that's realistic, and like what does that look like? So we're going to slow down a little bit more and do more buy and hold. So the goal for next year is going to be four buy and holds, and that's going to be the goal for the next 10 years. I would like to stop at around 52, 53, not stop, but be in like a point to where I've always wanted. The reason I do this and I got into this was I always wanted the answer to the question not to be, I don't have the time or money. Yeah. So it's like, hey Josh, do you want to go to Nashville? Yeah. And it's a Wednesday. Hell yeah, let's go. Like I don't have to look at my calendar and go, oh, well, I got to work Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And look at the bank account. Oh shoot, that's only at $1,200. No, I can't go. Like that's my goal. That's my driving. It's not a money thing. It's the driving factor is I don't want to worry about money. Yeah. And it's just like when you can get to that mindset, I think I'm imagining it being pretty cool. Yeah. So it's building up. So that's like right now I'm Jennifer and I are, we make good money, decent money, right? But the goal is to dump all of that in. So not necessarily living like this extravagant life now. I want to live it in 10 years when like we're more settled in, we're more, and then hopefully I can live for another 10 years after that to enjoy but yeah. So,
well, and I'm already seeing cause like, what is it? If I become successful, it won't be obvious, but there will be signs. I'm taking a look at that new house of yours and being like, okay, there are signs along the way.
Yeah. I mean, that was,
tell us about the fun that you've had working on that project.
Yeah. So we recently bought a new house, and this was something that it probably wouldn't have come to me if a couple things, do a network, but also being involved in the real estate world and knowing we got the house seller finance. Okay. I wouldn't even have known what that was 3 years ago. Seller finance? What the heck does that mean?
And what was that conversation like? Because a lot of people are sitting there going, seller finance, what the heck does that even mean? Yeah. So like for starting, that means that he didn't go to a bank and get the mortgage. He's buying it directly from them and making payments, almost creating a mortgage with the seller themselves and saying, all right, you be the bank and I'll sell it to you.
Correct. Yeah.
So, or you'll sell it to me. So what was that like for you guys?
So it was
feel free to share as much or as little of the specifics as you.
So it was really weird. So I went to the property, and I walked through it, and it's a huge house.
It's gorgeous.
And so it's 6 bedrooms, 4.5, 5 bathrooms, 5,000 square feet, right? And my investor hat when I went in was, I want to turn this into a corporate rental. How do I do that? And so that was my mentality going into it. The very first time I went and walked through it with the kids.
Big old corporate rental.
Yeah. So it's like, it's close to DuPont. It's close to a Philip Morris. So it was like, how do I make that connection? And then they can come here. It's on a golf course. So, maybe that might be a draw for corporate people to come stay. They can go play golf, do all of that. So, I went back. I was super excited about this. Go back to tell Jennifer. She goes, I've always passed that house and I've always wanted to live there. And I went, okay, well, this changes like the whole mentality. So like now how we're living in a house that we lived in a house for 18 years. And we had no plans of moving. Like there was never a discussion about us moving. And so it was like, all right, now what does this look like? And how do I get that? And so I went back to the homeowners. It was their parents' house. The dad had passed away 8 years ago. The mom was in assisted living. And so, do y'all own the house outright? Okay. Yes, you do. All right. Well, if you take this hit, taxes, you could have all of this kind of stuff. What if you could make more money? And so what I did is I did an Excel spreadsheet. and I showed them, this is your amortization with interest. This is how much you will make in 7 years. 7-year balloon, 30 years amortized. And they were like, oh, wow, that number is so much higher than like what your offer is. And we just have to, like, you're just going to pay us and send us checks monthly. Yeah, that's exactly how this works. They knew a little bit about it, so it made it a little bit easier. But yeah, it ended up being, was able to negotiate a great deal, what I feel was a great deal for us.
Sure.
Talked it through, got deferred payments for the first year, interest only payments for the next 2 years. So years 2 and 3 are interest only. And then the amortization picks up in year 4 to 7-year balloon at 5% interest rate. So 10% down. So
yeah, beat that, people with their 6.5% current rate mortgage.
Yeah. And to be 100% honest, I didn't like seller finance. I knew of it and I knew kind of how it worked, but I had to like, talk with Brian Rhodes, like, hey, Brian, how do I get this? Like, how does this work? How do you're so much smarter than I, like, help me like go through this process, and a lot of guidance from him and helping with that. So it was cool, but then it opened my eyes to what seller financing is. And I mean, you do a lot, you probably do. How much seller financing deals do you get?
I always tell everybody that the number of seller finance deals that you're going to do is mostly based off of the marketing that you do.
Okay.
Right. So so if you're in the world of digital advertising, your client is at random. Right.
Yeah,
So their equity position is at random. So you're going to talk to somebody that maybe bought a house a year ago and can only sell it for what they bought it for, or has to bring money to the table. Maybe the house's condition has gone down within the last year, and or they found something that's a material defect in the last year. And that means they'd have to bring $25,000 to the table if they wanted to sell it. And so they go, I really can't. I'm not in a position to do that. I have the $11 or $8 in my checking account. I can't sell. And so they talk to a couple of agents and they say, yeah, this is the math we're working with. You're going to have to bring $11,000 to $25,000 to the table. And they're like, okay, that's not a possibility, but I just need to go to Colorado for work.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So they're leaving Virginia. They're going somewhere. So they're not deadbeats.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're not, so it's not like we feel sorry for them because of the situation where they're in, but they haven't done anything wrong technically.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Or we see this a lot when we talk to military guys. They're moving from out of state to come here, and they're making over asking offers because they're tired of wasting time and they need to move quickly to buy a house.
Yeah.
So maybe they offered $30,000 over asking. Then they come to me and say, "Hey, will you pay me $30,000 over that?" And it's like you overpaid a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Like the market hasn't appreciated that much, especially when you're talking about lower priced houses.
Correct.
So. Yeah, it's all about the marketing.
Okay.
So if you're doing a lot of digital marketing, you're going to get equity positions at random. If you do the more traditional stuff, mail, like you're going to be targeting
high equity.
Yeah, you're going to be targeting specific lists, and for the most part, people are not targeting unless they're in the business of subject to, or they're in the business of create exclusively. Yeah. You're not mailing because you can mail to high equity.
Yeah,
there's nothing that stops you from doing that. Yeah. It's just typically if you see like what people are spending their money on. They are sending out postcards, letters to people that are that are absentee owners, out of state, multi-story, over a certain age. So they're like trying to refine these niche lists so they can have like overlapping needs and and their code violations in there. So it's like you're gonna get less opportunities to do creative finance when you're talking to people that stand to make $300,000 in cash by selling their house.
Yeah.
It can still be done, but like. I would say if you're trying to get into that space, like you probably need to look at maybe digital advertising.
Yeah.
To be able to have more of those conversations. All of our subject twos and all of our whatever have come from digital advertising.
Okay.
And then all of our big deals where we have big spreads have come from mail.
How long did you doing you guys doing wholesaling? How long into your career did it take for you to understand the creative financing and all of that? Like, so when you first started, are you just going in and, hey, let me make you an offer, 70% rule, blah, 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 blah. Let me get this under contract. And then you realize, oh, there's a market for this creative stuff and I can get so many more houses. How long did it take?
I think it just kind of came down to like, as we got bolder about like, let's make an offer to everybody. And then it just comes down to like, this is going to sound crazy, but this is all I have left to offer you.
Yeah.
Like my cash offer would not meet your needs. Sorry.
Yeah.
That is a number on a spreadsheet. Right?
So it's just trying to figure out what works best for everybody.
Right. So if I can pull this extra magic wand out of my back pocket that says I could buy this house on terms and this would be the outcome, and be able to explain that and be confident. And, if you're starting and you're brand new, it would kind of make sense that you're not comfortable and confident having that conversation.
Yeah.
But like where we are now, I have no problem saying that, because I'm going to walk them through their options. And then, and there is this other option, by the way. I don't suggest you do this unless the first one doesn't work out, right? Because if you make $100,000, like I'm not going to, if you can sell your house and you can take 100,000 equity with you, I'm going to suggest you do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Subject to stuff, people are kind of almost forced into that.
Okay.
I find that I'm sure you can find plenty of examples of people out there that will tell you that the only way to do a deal is subject to. I would love to know what they're leaving on the table if that's what their real plan is.
Okay.
Anybody that's exclusively trying to market for creative finance is probably also just doing a lot of regular old flips and making cash offers.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I always tell people, just be mindful of that. Anytime someone says this is the only way to do something, it's not. It is an option. It is a tool. So now that you have done a creative deal, it has now opened your eyes to those opportunities going forward.
Absolutely.
So I would say you're never really, like, I'm comfortable presenting anything now.
Yeah.
So now that's 5.5, 6 years in.
Yeah.
I would say 2 years in, I had the confidence to be able to just like pitch anything. Up until then, like, I'm learning how to do it as we go along. It's another thing we talk about. It's the difference between just-in-time learning versus just-in-case learning.
Yeah.
So if like you've got all these people on YouTube University, which is a theoretical thing. I'm sure that's an actual channel, but I'm not referring to an actual channel when I say that. You've got people that are just like spending all their time on YouTube trying to learn every specific thing. How do I learn novations? How do I learn creative finance? How do I learn subject to? How do I learn, buying in a trust and then tax things and all this? So it's like all great things to learn.
Yeah.
But like for me, it was like, I'm not on YouTube unless like at 4:00 today, I've got an appointment that I need to discuss this specific thing. And maybe I'm calling a buddy saying like, what are just some of the very basics for pitching this? Because you don't necessarily have to sell it in the first go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, it did. And so like you get to the point of where like you have to learn from the experience, right? I mean, again, it goes back to don't be afraid to fail. Mm-hmm. Right? Like you may lose a deal, but you learned a lot from that first time you go in to pitch a seller financing or a sub two. Like you learned, I didn't get that deal, but look what it's done for you now 3 years down the road, right? Like I learned, all right, I shouldn't have said this, or I should have approached it this way, or this is the key trigger word I should have used. So,
and it's also having the confidence that like, if someone truly needs to sell their home, there's not much you can say to screw that up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
so if you're just like, well, I would offer you this. Like, there's better ways to say it.
Yeah.
But like, if they're like, well, I really need to sell and I need to get this done today. Okay.
Yeah.
And you're like, hot dog, that worked. Right. That was ugly, but it worked. Right. And then there's other times where you say something because the person was never really truly wanting to sell today.
Yeah.
They didn't really want to sign today. So you're beating yourself up going home, but it's all circumstantial. I kind of liken it. I had a buddy one time that said like, it's kind of like ketchup. If I offered you ketchup and you hate ketchup, you would say, no, thank you.
Yeah.
And I said, but Josh, this ketchup was made by a 3 Michelin star chef, the finest chef in the world. This is considered the best ketchup on planet Earth. And people come from thousands of miles to eat this ketchup. You'd be like, but I don't like ketchup.
Yeah, I hate it.
But Josh, I don't think you understand, Josh. You really, really, really want this ketchup. And you'd be like, ketchup is repulsive to me.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can do that's going to make you be like, I'll have some ketchup on these fries.
Please. Yeah.
Now, if you love ketchup, and then I'm like, by the way, this ketchup was made by a 3 Michelin star, they're going to be like, bring it.
Yeah.
Give me 2 bottles. In fact, put one in a bag to go. I'll buy that too.
Yeah.
Like, how
Do
hard
I
of a
hit on the 57?
Right. But like, it wasn't a sell to the guy that loves ketchup.
Yeah.
It's also not a sell. You're also not going to make the sale to somebody that's just simply not in the market.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm sure you could, like, you come up on times. I mean, I've gone through these, so I'm pretty sure you've gone through them. I hate to speak for you, but like, you go to talk to somebody and you give them an offer, right? And they're expecting this, and you give your offer, and that's your top offer, and then but no, come up, I can't do it, and then you walk away from. Then you get the call 3 months later, right? Like, okay, like, I've talked to other people, like, now I'm ready. I'll take your offer. Like, I'm sure that happens with like people call you to see like, how much can I get, right? They may not be ready to sell, but they want to see, well, how much would Adam give me for that? And so you give them that offer, and then it comes back like five months later, and they're calling, they're like, all right, we're ready now. right? So it's all about timing.
My favorite phone call is the one where it's like, we got 3 other offers that were 20,000 more than you, but I don't trust those guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Or I didn't like them.
Oh yeah.
Like I just got a bad vibe.
I've gotten
off
that
them.
before.
I don't think they're actually gonna close. We were dealing with a foreclosure situation the other day, and I knew we were the lowest bid by a good margin. And the gentleman just basically said, I don't think they can get it done in 10 days.
Yeah.
No. I'm like, well, I'm confident I can at that number.
And then he took it.
Yeah. And that's just it. Like, and that's that silence.
Yeah.
It's just that silence.
Yeah,
and be comfortable in the silence.
Yeah.
You know, and then just,
absolutely.
and they have a choice to make.
Yeah.
How bad do I want to risk this whole deal over $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000? Sometimes that's, and that's a question only they can answer.
Yeah. Yeah.
We do our best. We try to present everything, but it doesn't always work out. You know, that somebody's doing different math. Sometimes people are doing different math because they are misleading. Sometimes people are doing different math because they just have a different risk tolerance than us. Sometimes people are just naive or uninformed. And trust me when I say I've seen this movie, and that number will change down the road, probably on day 27 of a 30-day close, when you're already packed up, ready to go, and you get a phone call that says, hey, listen, I know we were at 220, but some things have changed and we're really at 180.
Yeah.
I'm never going to be that guy.
Yeah.
And so I keep them informed of that. I've got my own, I think Steve Trang always called it scorched earth. So I'm always informing them of all the red flags along the way. I'll sit there and tell somebody, like, if somebody's coming in here and taking photos, that's a problem. If somebody just is too easy to say yes, that's a problem. Make them show you that they've got the money. I love that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pull out your phone right now and show me that you have the cash. You are a cash buyer after all, right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I have to ask my partner. I thought you said it was your business.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm really good at convincing somebody that the next guy that's going to walk through the door, like, here's some things you need to think about. And these are all hoops that I'm willing to jump through as well to prove myself with this seller.
It's developing that trust with them. Right.
Yeah. Cause I'm just like, I like questions that, they would throw an investor off, but like a true professional investor would easily be able to answer. It's like, which bank do you bank at? And who's the branch manager there that you work with? And they go, I don't really have a branch manager that I know well. And I'm like, so just so we're clear, you are an experienced investor that's moving money in and out all the time, opening up this account, doing that. And you don't know anybody at the bank that you work at?
Yeah.
And you don't have that app on your phone to show me?
Yeah. Shout out First Citizens, Ben Farmer.
There you go. Yeah. So you bank where?
First Citizens.
There you go. So all of Josh's money.
It's not much. They're in houses now.
So, yeah. It's stuff like that where I'm just like, it's, I think your original question was, am I comfortable with creative real estate now? Yes.
Yeah.
But like, I'm also uncomfortable. I'm comfortable in the uncomfortability of presenting.
Yeah.
And do I say it correctly even today? No. But like, usually we're walking down a path to trying to figure out, is a cash option going to work? No. Okay. They would have to come to the table with money. Well, we can't do that then. We could do.
How do you figure all this out? So it's just through asking questions to the homeowner. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. In the process. So it's like, how much is left on the mortgage, right? Well, we bought it a year ago. It's probably whatever they bought it for.
Yeah.
Right. And have they invested other things into it? So we bought it overpriced, and then we put another 30,000 into the house. But the things that you did weren't necessarily things that raised the value of the home. So maybe you just created a really cool backyard.
Yeah. Put
God
a nice
bless
porch
you.
out there.
If you're going to stay there for another 10 years, that's a great investment. And you're going to get all of that money back and just enjoyment.
Yeah.
But as an investor, that doesn't mean anything, right? Did you replace the kitchen? Great choice. With those figures, like you get $3 back for every dollar you put into a kitchen, or $2 for a bathroom. For a porch? It's like, it's just, might as well just set it on fire.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? We see a lot of that, and people will make design choices that are necessarily moving backwards in the value of the home. And sometimes it's just the aesthetics, right?
Yeah.
So having those conversations like, hey, listen, when you took this beautiful quartz and you epoxied it pink, that did not make the home worth more money. That's a true story.
That's a taste thing.
That is a true story. Yeah, that's a true story. This lady worked a particular job that I would say is notorious for body glitter in bedazzling
Okay.
and skimpy outfits. That was what she did for a living. And so her design aesthetic in her house matched all that.
All right.
So, like, those LED lights that kids put in their room when like they're like basically a teenage boy gamer room where this is the ring, the line of lights around the ceiling. That was like under the cabinets and like rainbow going everywhere. And everything. It was like, that is a choice, right? But that's impacting the value of this home.
Yeah.
You just bought it. Then you did this to it. Like, it has to be undone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, I don't know if we can remove the epoxy from the quartz. I've never looked into putting those chemicals on, so probably just gonna have to replace the counter.
Yeah.
And then you bedazzled the cabinets. So I don't know what's gonna be like when we pull that off. Are we replacing the doors at a minimum? Probably replacing this whole kitchen.
Yeah.
Mirrors everywhere. Some very, we'll just say tasteful self-portraits and murals. Murals, like that's 6 coats of paint to cover up. Like, so you're like, you made some changes.
This picture you've drawn in my mind is just, it's hilarious.
If you're listening to this at home and thinking like, was this person a stripper? Yeah, they were. So
I don't think you had to say that.
Spoiler alert. Yeah. So, but all that impacted the house. So I can't make a cash offer on that that's going to please them.
Yep.
So now it's a matter of, I can take over the mortgage. I can give you next to nothing because I'm going to have to invest a lot into this to make this of value again. But there is a tax play in there for me. And then you can decide, all right, will we refinance it out of it after X number of years? Or is this you're sticking around for the whole term? I typically negotiate this mortgage is going to stick around the whole term. And then there's a process to all that and everything. And then it just comes down to, do they trust you?
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say that's probably just the biggest thing right there. You can say all the right things and you can do, like, do you trust that I am able to pay this mortgage?
Yeah.
Yes. Or
I mean, I think you kind of, you said that with the point of like, you may not be the highest offer, but that trust is such an important factor when you're in this industry. Like it's so important that people trust that you're going to close. There's plenty of people out there that don't close the deal. Right. And, so it's definitely a trust thing.
Yeah, kind of part of my talk track is literally looking at them and say, if there's 1% doubt in your mind that I will not pay this mortgage, do not sign this paperwork.
Yeah, yeah.
If you think about it tonight, like if you go to bed and you wake up at 1 o'clock in the morning in a cold sweat and you're like, what if he doesn't pay? Then do not sign this. Because I can't guarantee anything in life. And guarantee anything. Now we've got insurance that, something were to happen to us that would pay off all of our debts and like all this other stuff. But like, I don't have to die in order to be able to make this happen.
Yeah.
Right? But but do you trust me? Do you trust that I'll pay that? And like that, there's very few certainties in life. And it's tough for some people to have that level of trust. So I totally understand how some people, regardless of the loss that they'll have to take, just simply aren't comfortable with that.
Yeah.
I know I personally wouldn't be.
Yeah.
Like if somebody said, will you take over, if you said, Adam, I'll take over your mortgage, I'd be like, you're a nice guy, Josh, but
it's weird. It doesn't from the outside or somebody that wouldn't necessarily it's a weird thing to think about.
And it either makes sense to them from the beginning and they're very open-minded to it because there's very little chance that you're going to be able to talk them into it. The more talking you're doing, sometimes the less likely you are to do the deal. It's a comfortability thing. And like, I feel like novations are very much the same way. We're going to do the project while you still own it. And then we're going to come with our agreed upon number. And then I'm going to sell it on the open market to a third party. That is something that either goes, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Or you're like, I got questions.
I got a lot of them.
And it's like, this is probably not going in the direction we want it to. And that's okay.
Yeah.
But like, we have all these other levers we can pull.
Yeah. So you got more tools in your tool bag that you can.
Essentially.
How do you prevent? So like, I know this goes along and I'm not trying to take over your podcast.
I'm all for questions. I don't want to have to be the magic.
I don't so how do you prevent? Cause I know this happens. I don't do that much wholesaling. But so you get, Jane Doe calls you get her under contract.
Sure.
Now there's a lot of people out there in this industry that try to come behind you. You got it under contract for 100. They try to come behind you. You've gotten a contract signed. How do you prevent that seller from going, oh, I'm going to take this offer too? Like how do you protect that and protect that contract that you have?
So, Josh, congratulations. We have a ratified contract. Okay. Is there, before I take this paperwork over to my attorney, I'm giving you the opportunity to tear it up right now. Is there any doubt in your mind about this transaction? Because we can just tear this thing up. It's like it never happened, right? I know we just signed it, but it's like, no, okay. What does this transaction mean to you? Like getting this done and knowing it's done and over with. Oh gosh, well, I can finally breathe easy because I know I don't have to show it. And I got 12 cats in here that I'm worried about. Sometimes it's just like, I don't want to move my pets. Sometimes it's, I don't want people to see my grow room. It smells like weed in here. It smells like tobacco in here. Like, I have an interesting taste, right? So like the lady we were talking about earlier with all the glitter, she has an interesting style that I don't necessarily know that she's all that excited to bring 100 people to that house, right? Yeah. So like, what does this mean to you? They discuss and they reemphasize why we're doing this. And then it's like, cool. So there's one other thing that I like to tell people, and I know this isn't going to be you, but I tell it to everyone so that I can sleep soundly at night if you ever go crazy on me, okay? So now that we have a ratified contract, think of that like us being married, right? We just haven't had the wedding yet. The wedding's at the closing table, right? So you'll show up first because you're the bride and you have to get your hair done and everything, makeup and everything, because then put on the dress and all that. I'm the groom. I'm just going to show up at the very last second, write the check, call it a day, whatever, right? So it's a metaphor, right? But what that really means is that if tomorrow, if Bill Gates himself were to knock on your door, let's say our contract is for 100, and say, you know what, I've always wanted to move into this neighborhood. I'd love to offer you 200,000 for this house. It means that you have to look him square in the face and say, I'm so sorry, but I have a ratified contract with Adam. And you're a day late and a $1 bill. Where were you yesterday, brother? But in reality, we know it's not going to be Bill Gates. Probably not going to be a Saudi sheik. It's probably not going to be a Russian oligarch that's a billionaire, right? I don't know how many billionaires friends that you've got just trying to live in your neighborhood, right? But I've yet to have one knock on my door, right? So in reality, it's not going to be them. It's going to be another investor that's going to try to get in your head, or it's going to be your brother that's going to be like, I didn't know you were trying to sell that house, man. I'd have given you 105 for that thing. And then they start messing with you. So first thing I usually tell people is don't go bragging that you sold this thing. Because the first question out of everyone's mouth is what you sell it for. Yeah. Now you've got your reasons for why you're doing this. Yeah. You don't necessarily need to share that with everybody. And the best way to not have to share it with them is not really talk about the selling process. They'll be able to look up public records one day if they're truly that interested a month from now. That, for the most part, that solves all the problems. Now, there's a continuation of that story of giving an example of somebody that did go dumb on me. And the thing is, I didn't become the mean, nasty guy that yelled at him. I just said, we're sitting at a stoplight. You turn right, you just close on this thing, get it done. We're good to go. You're a man of your word. I'm a man of your word. I'm a man of my word. If you turn left, we have to leave it up to the attorneys. It gets crazy expensive and nobody wins. Like it is a lose-lose situation. Yeah. And we've already started spending money on our end, so we are going to defend that position. I've had one guy do that. He said his brother came in and said, oh man, you sold it to him for X amount of dollars. I'd have given you X plus $10,000. So he called me up, said deal's off. And I was like, it doesn't work like that. Yeah, yeah. So I explained to him, if he wants to try to get out of this contract, he needs to call his brother back and ask if he can borrow $30,000. Some of that was to cover the materials we'd already ordered because we were like a day or two from closing. We'd and this was peak COVID. We had to order everything in advance. Yeah. So some of that was to pay for the materials that I just lost, opportunity costs. And then some of it was just a pain in the butt fee. Yeah. I don't really like the way I'm being treated right now. I'm going to be real with you. Yeah. She said, hold on, I'll call my brother. Calls his brother. Brother tells him, man, I only got $11. Get that guy back on the phone and apologize before he sues you. So he gets me back on the phone and says, I'm so sorry, man. I didn't know what got into me, whatever. So I literally will tell this story to people. And I said, that's great. I knew you'd be a man of your word. And Josh, I know you're not going to do that to me. But I just want you to sleep soundly knowing that if you go crazy 27 days into this close, we got people for that. Yeah. And I'll still sleep fine knowing that we've had this conversation and I can say, Josh, I told you, man. Yeah. Yeah. So I know that's not going to happen. Upfront. I know that's not going to happen. I know you're not going to do that to me. And I know you're going to shut it all down. Is there anybody that I need to call and cancel for you? Like, are there any other appointments that you have after this that I need to cancel just to make your life easier? Yeah. Or do you feel comfortable doing that? Oh, no, I'm fine with that or whatever. I'll just send them a text. Okay, great. So we're going to shut down. We're not going to do any more looking into, we're not taking any more offers. So I'm going to take this paperwork. I'm going to take it to my attorney. We're going to go from there. At that point, if they screw up, they're asking for it. Yeah, it's on them. Right. Yeah. That's the long answer, but I will literally do that. I think this is like every single appointment. Okay. And it's funny. Like I can say it with the right, I know you're not going to do that, Josh. And we're like, I would never do that to you, man. And it's like, cool. You said it. You said it. I will never do that to you.
Yeah.
Great. So if you do, and I know you're not getting, Josh, I know you're not going to do that. But if you do, just know it gets crazy expensive.
Yeah.
For everybody. Right. And I don't want to see that happen. I know you're a man of your word, and I'm going to be a man of my word too. And then we just move on.
Yeah.
And then, but if you've got that situation where people are shopping you after you're under contract, then it's what you said after you signed it that you need to reevaluate.
Yeah. Okay.
So
good advice. Pro tip.
Yeah. So there you go. It's a little learning lesson for today. Josh, for the folks at home that are saying, I want to do business in Richmond, I want to do business with Josh Staneart, how can they find you, and probably also spell your last name?
So I am on Instagram and Facebook.
Okay.
Josh Staneart. It's Staneart.
Okay.
I tend to post a lot on there.
And who are you looking to connect with?
I'm looking to connect with anybody. So if you're looking to get into real estate, buy or sell, anything with real estate, I'm looking to connect. I mean, I feel like my wife and I have so many avenues and things in real estate. So from design, staging, to buying and selling, to learning about investing in real estate, let's go. Let's talk.
All right. So if you're looking for a cup of coffee with somebody, Josh Staneart has an unlimited amount of time. We'll take 6 coffee dates a day if need be.
Yeah, please.
Josh, thanks for coming, man.
No problem,
we really
buddy.
appreciate you.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks.
All right. And so for everybody at home, talented investors that share, follow us on Facebook. I think we're very close to 9,000 people in our Facebook group at this point. You'll see more content like this, and it's a great way for us to connect as a community. Talented investors that share on Facebook. Search for it. Let's connect. If you've got questions, if you've got anything that you're working on that you need help with, we have a community of 9,000 people that want to work with you and talk to you and help you sort it out and just connect. So that's where you can do it. Thanks, guys. We'll see you soon. Thanks for listening to the Talented Investors That Share podcast. Please share this with other talented investors on YouTube, your favorite streaming platform, and on Facebook at the Talented Investors That Share group. That's the best way to get your questions answered, network with other investors, and just get to know everybody better and learn.
Yeah, guys, for real. This is all he's got. So please do it.
I mean, that may be true, but did you have to put it like that?